Hi there, I'm April Callis-Birchmeier. I'm excited to share with you today. We're going to talk about certifications that matter. And the reason I really wanted to talk about this today is because this is the time of year when we think about what are we going to accomplish this year? What kind of plans do we have for ourselves? That could either be through a resolution that you may or may not have made at New Year's, or it could be that you just take time at the beginning of each year to think about some of your goals and what it is that you'd like to complete for the year. I always liked spending time doing some dreaming planning, big, huge goals to try to accomplish. I try to leave space also in my thinking for ideas I haven't thought of yet, and in my schedule for things that I don't know about yet. And then I also like to really identify some specific targets. And certifications are specific targets. And when I'm talking about certifications, I'm talking about those professional certifications that are necessary for you to move up in your career in your field. And, for many folks, if you're in financial services, there's a number of certifications that you need to prepare for and take an exam and pass that exam to earn that certification. In the project management world, one of the big certifications is the PMP, the Project Management Professional Certification. And that, again, requires knowledge and years of experience in leading projects and in working on projects, and also an exam that you must pass, 150 question exam that you need to pass to be able to be certified in that. Now, I have to tell you, on Friday, this past week, what date was it? The 17th, I did take an exam for a coaching certification. The International Coaching Federation, ICF, has 3 levels of certification: ACC, accredited coaching coach, the PCC, and the MCC. Those 3 are their 3 credentials, and I took and passed the ACC coaching credential on Friday, and so now I've got one of my certification goals for the year. I think it was my only certification goal for the year accomplished. One of the big certifications for HR professionals is the SBHR. That is an important certification. And then for change management professionals, we have the CCMP, Certified Change Management Professional. And that certification is extremely closely aligned with the PMP, the Project Management Professional. And when we're thinking about, why should I think about a certification? A certification is communication in a sense. A certification assures those who want to hire you that you have a certain baseline of knowledge. It helps clients decide if they want to do business with you, helps employers decide if they should hire you, and helps your current career and job situation in the sense that people know that you are ready to move up because it's been proven through the certification exam that you know your stuff and that you are able to not only memorize and understand and recognize information, but that you know how to apply the information as well. Because all of these certifications have application questions in their exams. So I think it's important to think about how you boost your career in 2025. If you truly want to thrive in your career, you will want to add a certification this year. And whether or not you were able to complete yours last week, or you have yet to think about completing a certification, I would encourage you that if you want to increase your visibility, if you want to increase your value in your organization, if you want to bring clients to you who know that you know your stuff, a certification really is the way to go. And so Let me just talk a little bit about the certification that I spend most of my time thinking about. Although I did spend a good deal of time thinking about the coaching certification recently. But what makes a certification like the CCMP? That is the one that I spend the most time thinking about and preparing for and talking with others about. And this certified change management professional designation is different from a course certification. And so is the PMP and the SPHR and the ACC, PCC, and MCC. They are all industry accepted certifications. They have been developed using an ISO process. They are recognized by ISO as a certification that has experience requirements, requires usually an essay of some sort or some documentation, some proof of performance that you have been able to accomplish goals. And they also require training and education. So you don't necessarily need to have a college degree, which we'll come back to, but you definitely need to have some change management training for the change management certification. And then finally, the passing score on the certification exam, which before you ask, I have to say that the passing score for the PMP and the CCMP is not known. It's not clear what that score is. Now, I did notice on my ICF ACC exam the other day that it did specify the score that was needed to pass the exam, but they do not share that information from Project Management Institute or from the Association of Change Management Professionals, which is the conveyor of the CCMP, Certified Change Management Professional Designation. So thinking about the CCMP and what makes it different from like a course certification is that it's an industry certification recognized globally. And the difference is between that and something like a ProSci certification is that a ProSci certification is more like a course completion recognition. You have completed this course. When I did my ProSci training, I was ProSci certified. I became ProSci certified. There was a brief, I think maybe it was 10-question quiz to pass before I could become ProSci certified. But it's very different from an industry certification. In fact, my own training, Ready, Set, Change training, we give a certification badge because we certify that you've completed our course, but it is not an industry certification. It is a completion. It's a recognition of completion that you have completed a program, but not that you have been industry certified. So it's just a difference between certifications and completions that I think isn't always extremely clear. But I think the important piece is really to recognize the impact on your career that having a certification makes. We've had a number of success stories in our organization, in our Springboard Consulting Ready, Set, Change program. And many of the success stories revolve around things that happened once people passed their CCMP exam and became CCMPs. One of our early students who was with us a long time ago, she passed her CCMP, and she had, it took a little prodding to get her to take her exam. She took her exam, passed it, and then Kathy was able to almost immediately move from a project management role, which she was not enjoying a great deal, into another company in a change management role. And of course, this is great for her because she really loves change management. It's where she wants to spend her time and her thinking. And so when she was able to pass her CCMP and move from her project management world into change management, She was extremely happy, really relieved, and actually is really enjoying her career. I've had another few other individuals that have had interesting career mm, bumps, person, I'd have to say. And that is one of our recently CCMP certified uh, professionals. He passed his CCMP exam, and about 2 weeks later, he let me know, excuse me, he let me know that his change management group had been eliminated out of his organization. But because he had a CCMP, it made his search so much faster and easier because he had proof. He had proof that he was able to lead change effectively. He had passed that exam, he had submitted his education, his training, his essays, his proof of performance, if you will, and was able to pass. So I think that that was a benefit to him. And I'm so thrilled that he had his CCMP prior to learning this news about his organization's decision to essentially eliminate part of their team. I think that there are a lot of ways that the CCMP can impact your career. Also, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a single independent contractor in change management, where you go from project to project, it's wonderful to have that CCMP behind your name so that people know you know what you're doing when they're looking for a change management professional. I also think it gives you a great sense of confidence, and that confidence is translated to clients when they speak with you and they know your CCMP. So the CCMP can do a lot for you in terms of your career, in terms of your role, and in terms of the type of work you want to do, want to stay with. I think also there are questions about the CCMP, like how do I earn it? And it is an earned designation. The way that you can earn it is twofold. Well, there are many steps, but I'll just give you a quick rundown. One of the pieces that's very important is that you have had change management experience. You must have had at least 3 years of change management experience. But don't be disheartened. If you are new to change management, you don't have to worry that you aren't going to be able to get your CCMP. If you're new, it just means that you have a few years to gather experience before you can apply. But the application does require 3 years of change management experience. And yet sometimes people have change management experience. They don't understand that they do. I was working with a young woman who worked for a school district. She was in their HR department. She really felt like all she dealt with was change. She had completed our training and wanted to earn her CCMP, but felt like she didn't have 3 years of change management experience because she had been a school administrator in HR, but didn't necessarily have the title change manager. But in talking with her, she had 2 years of experience in really leading change throughout her organization. Even though she didn't have the change management leader title, she was HR. And so she had these 2 years. And then I asked her if she had ever done any sort of other change initiatives in any volunteer work she had done. Well, she instantly got excited and said she spent 5 years as a Bible camp director and coordinator. And she had set up the entire curriculum. She had scheduled all the students. She had created all of the activities. And then she had recruited and supervised all of the teachers and managed the entire process for a 6-week Bible camp every summer for the past 5 years. Well, that was a lot of experience. And so she was able to include that as part of her experience in change management, which helped her to round up to her 3 years of experience. So you do need to have experience. And many of us have experience that we don't always necessarily recognize as change management experience. You also have to have some form of education. So if you don't have a bachelor's degree, you can have an associate's degree, you can have a high school degree, but it just means you need more years of experience. So if you have a bachelor's degree, you need the approximately 3 years of experience. If you have a high school degree or a secondary degree, then you need 5 years of experience to go forward with applying for your CCMP. You also have to have training in change management. And one of the challenges I think that brings along is that not all training is the same, right? So there is qualified education that is a part of ACMP, an Association of Change Management Professionals, have a list on their website of qualified education providers. And those providers have showed and proven to ACMP that their training aligns with the standard for change management. The standard for change management is what you study, and the information from there is what you apply to some of the work you do. And this is what the exam is based on. And so you can take training from a qualified education provider, has to be 21 hours or more. You also can take training from a college or university program. I think ACMP will usually ask for the curriculum, but it has to be 21 hours or more for the training requirement. Then also you have 3 essays to write out of 5 essay prompts. So there are 5 prompts that are aligned with the 5 process groups in the Standard for Change Management. And you can download that standard for free at acmpglobal.org. You can get the standard for free. Just download it. But there are 5 process groups in the Standard for Change Management. And in those 5 process groups, they have 5 essay prompts aligned to those process groups. And you just have to answer 3 of them in 500 words or less. And that's not so much. It's about 3/4 of a page in a Word document. So write your 3 essays, and then you can apply to take the exam. Now, the important part, though, I haven't talked about, that is preparing for the exam. Once you have been approved for the exam, you have to really study. You have to put a lot of effort into studying to prepare for that exam. And so the training that I created actually has the 21 hours of required change management training and change management professional exam preparation training as well. So they're combined. Once you are able to put in your application and then you're approved for your exam, you have 12 months to take your exam from the time of your approval. So when you're approved, you have to prepare and decide when you're going to take the exam. You can take it the 11th month, you could take it the 12th month, but it's important to make a plan for when you are going to take the exam so that you have time to study and you can look at your calendar and see when would be the best time in my schedule for work and for my life to take this exam. One of our successful CCMPs that I just love, she had talked with me several times about earning her CCMP. And she said to me, I have a big event coming up for my daughter, and I'm going to be very, very busy with that this year. So this is not a good year for me to do this exam. I'm going to take the training next year and get my certification next year. And she did. She took the training, and within, I think, 4 weeks of completing her training, she really doubled up on her study, and she was able to pass and earn her CCMP designation. And I appreciated the fact that she really took time to look at her calendar, think about her schedule, and decide if she had enough time that year to be able to pursue this. I think that's a big deal. I've had a lot of folks get excited and ambitious. Well, not a lot. I've had three people that I can think of who got excited and ambitious and signed up for training and then found that their, go live date at work or their job or their personal life suddenly had more in it than they anticipated. And some of them have paused and taken the training a little bit later, or paused in the middle after they've taken the training, and have not yet submitted their application for the exam because they're waiting for a little bit calmer time in their calendar. So I think that's a great approach as well. Like, I appreciate the thoughtfulness that goes into that. And I like thinking about, that you are so dedicated and so interested in doing a good job and really earning your CCMP that you want to ensure that you have the best time possible for it. So when I think about the career benefits, the personal pride, and the the accomplishment really just of earning your certified change management professional certification, it's really a no-brainer if you're somebody who's interested, involved, and loves organizational change management. And many project managers that I know also like to earn their CCMP because they want to show their clients that not only are they capable of planning a project and running a project and ensuring all the technical work is completed on time and that the milestones are met and that the implementation is successful. They want to be able to partner with the client and ensure that their people are ready for change as well, that they are able to do the stakeholder assessment and understand what the stakeholders will need to know in that future state, that they're able to develop a relevant, relatable story of this change for the stakeholders to understand and to be able to move forward with. They want to know that they can communicate with the sponsor and give the sponsor the coaching and guidance that they need to be successful with change. I know they also want to really be involved with communication and training for stakeholders. Now, many project managers are very, very busy during projects, but knowing what's happening and being able to contribute to helping those stakeholders move from that current state to that future state, it's priceless. So I would encourage you, if you're a project management professional and you really want to become one of a few who have a CCMP and a PMP, this would be the next step for you. If you are in HR, you're already involved with the people side of business. And so this seems like a great fit for you. And again, if you're in change management or would like to be in change management, this is a fantastic path because it really proves that you've got it, that you've got the experience, the knowledge, and the expertise to move forward. And if you're a coach, if you're a certified coach and you would like to expand your coaching from maybe individual coaching to more organizational coaching, the CCMP is the way to go, because when you have your coaching certification and your change management, certified change management professional designation, when you have those two together, it is clear to any of your clients or potential employers that you're able to not only think about the change that's occurring in the organization and structurally what that may mean, and also what that could mean for their employees, their leaders in terms of mindset, but then you also have the skills to be able to coach those leaders to move from their current state mindset into that future state and adopt that change. So it's really a bonus in many ways. And if you'd like to learn more about the Ready, Set, Change accelerated training and exam prep, we have a cohort that starts on February 24th. And I would love to talk with you about this. And so please reach out to me either by email, or you can send me a text. You can send me a note on LinkedIn, and we can set up a 10 or 15 minute call and just talk about your goals and what you are looking for, and if this is the right fit for you. Because if it is the fit that you're after, And sometimes it takes a while to figure out what those pieces are, right? What is that fit that I need to get me to that next level of my career, to really get me to the place where I'm excited and invigorated by work. If you are interested in having work that doesn't feel like work and you want to find out about certification, I'd love to talk with you and share our information around the Ready, Set, Change, accelerated training and exam prep, and our cohort that begins on February 24th. And if you have other certifications that you would like to talk about, I'm happy to talk about those as well, because again, I have a few of the other certifications that I feel are really critical for clients to trust me, for my uh, for my cohorts to know that I know what I'm talking about, and for me to be able to do the work that I love and the work that doesn't feel like work. So thank you so much for joining me today. I am excited to hear from you and to talk more about the CCMP, the PMP, the ACC, MCC, PCC, whatever CC it is you're interested in. Let me know. I'd love to talk with you.